Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're breaking down how you can put your business on autopilot using a pretty amazing tool called n8n. Sound good? Let's dive right in.
Let's kick things off with this quote from our source, because it really hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the urgency, you know? We're talking about something that's not just a nice to have anymore, it's about survival.
So why is this so critical? Well, our source shared this great personal story. They were selling online courses, right? And here's the problem. What happens when someone buys your course at 3 in the morning? How do you get them their login details instantly? That's the 3 a.m. challenge, and trust me, it's a massive headache for any online business.
And this is where the solution comes in, and it's brilliant. Check out this automated workflow. It runs 24/7, no one has to lift a finger. Step 1, a new customer signs up. Step 2, boom, the system creates their account. Step 3, their login details are zapped over to them instantly on WhatsApp. Just think about the alternative for a second. Hiring someone just to do this over and over? The cost, the management, automation just gets rid of that whole problem.
Okay, so let's get down to basics. What is business automation, really? At its core, it's super simple. You set up the logic, the rules, just once. And then, the system just takes over. It does the same task over and over again, perfectly, without you having to intervene. It's all about making your systems work for you.
Let's make this real. What can you actually automate? Think about it. Someone fills out a form on your website, a welcome email shoots out automatically. You get a new order in your e-commerce store, your team gets pinged right away. A client pays you, the invoice is created and sent, all without you doing a thing. It's these little, boring tasks that eat up so much time, and automation just wipes them off your plate. So, we've talked about the why this is so important. Now, let's get to the what. What's the magic tool that makes all of this possible?
Okay, let's talk about n8n, pronounced n8n. Think of it like a universal translator or a digital switchboard for all your apps. It lets all these different tools you use, like Google Sheets, Gmail, Telegram, even AI, finally talk to each other and work together in one smooth, automated workflow.
And seriously, the possibilities here are just huge. If you're running an online store, you can automate order notifications, invoicing, data entry, you name it. Or maybe you have a service business. Imagine automating your entire client onboarding process, from that first welcome email all the way to sending follow-up reminders to your team. It's a game changer.
Okay, so I bet you're seeing the potential here. The big question is, how do you actually get started with this thing? Let's walk through it.
All right, you've basically got two options. Option 1, try to set it up on your own computer. Honestly, it's complicated, it can get expensive, and it's a pain to maintain. Then there's option 2, using what's called a virtual private server, or VPS. And our source is super clear on this. They strongly recommend using a hosting or VPS. Why? Because it's cheaper, way simpler, and just so much more friendly for beginners.
And getting it set up on Hostinger, it's unbelievably easy. You just pick a plan, the source recommends the KVM2, choose how long you want it for, and then, and this is the best part, when you're setting up the server, you just tell it you want to install an application. You pick n8n from the list, and that's it. Hostinger does all the tricky tech stuff for you.
And once that's done, boom, you're in. You get your own personal n8n dashboard, which is basically your command center for building and running all these amazing automations.
But here's where it gets really good, especially if you're just starting out and feeling a little intimidated. You do not have to build everything from scratch.
Get this is an absolute game changer. Our source points out that n8n has over 8,900 ready-to-go templates. These are complete, pre-built automations that you can just grab, tweak a little for your own business, and start using right away.
So to see how powerful this is, let's look at a really cool example from the source. It's a template that uses AI to basically become your personal website consultant. It analyzes your landing page and tells you how to make it better.
So how does it work? It's awesome. All you do is give it a URL, a link to a website. The workflow then goes and reads all the content on that page, sends it over to an AI brain, in this case from OpenAI, and the AI spits back a whole list of tips on how you can improve it, all automated.
Okay, but here's where we hit a little speed bump, a reality check. The source tries to run this exact workflow, and wham, an error pops up. So what gives? This brings up a really important point about how all this works.
This leads us to a pretty big question, one you've got to ask when you're getting into automation. Is all of this stuff free?
And our source is super upfront about this. They just say, look, not everything is free. It's a dose of reality, for sure.
And here's the explanation. Your n8n platform, the engine, is all set up. But when you want to plug in these super powerful tools from other companies like OpenAI's AI, you need a special key, an API key. And sometimes using that key comes with a small cost, usually based on how much you use it.
But wait, let's put that cost in perspective for a second. Our source makes a fantastic point. A single workflow like this one could easily do the work of, say, 10 people. Now compare the tiny cost of that API key to the massive cost of paying 10 salaries. Suddenly, the value is just, well, obvious.
And don't forget, you're not stuck with just the templates. That's just the starting line. The real power comes when you start customizing. You can literally just click a plus button and add in other services you use, maybe a payment processor like Razorpay, and build something completely unique for your business.
All right, so let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways? First, automation isn't optional anymore. It's essential for staying in the game. Second, n8n is a fantastic and surprisingly accessible tool to make it happen. Third, using a Hostinger VPS is probably the easiest way to get your foot in the door. Fourth, those thousands of pre-built templates, they are your best friend for getting a massive head start. And finally, just remember that to tap into some of the really powerful stuff, you might have some small API costs, and that's totally normal.
So, we'll leave you with this. The tech is here. It's ready. And as you've just seen, it's more accessible than it has ever been. So the only question left for you is, what are you going to automate first?